A producer said to me, "Take your clothes off." And I said, "No." Lady Gaga's life is a shocking tale of heartache, trauma, and resilience that most would never expect from a global superstar. Beneath her dazzling performances and eccentric persona lies a woman who has battled sexual assault, mental health struggles, debilitating physical pain, and the deep scars of a broken heart. The tragedy of Lady Gaga is not just in the battles she's fought, but in the raw, untold story of survival that lies beneath her larger-than-life image. Take a deep breath to listen to Lady Gaga's heartbreaking story. Lady Gaga hid her sexual assault for years. In 2014, Lady Gaga opened up to Howard Stern about a deeply personal and painful experience, revealing that she was sexually assaulted by a music producer when she was a teenager. The revelation, which she shared via billboard, shocked many, as it was an intimate and haunting account of trauma that Gaga had kept hidden for years. A year later, she expanded on the devastating effects of the assault, speaking candidly to the press about the lasting psychological scars it left on her. Gaga confessed that she had kept the experience to herself for 7 years, struggling with feelings of confusion, guilt, and self-blame. She admitted that she didn't know how to process what had happened or how to accept it as part of her reality. "I didn't know how to think about it. I didn't know how to accept it. I didn't know how not to blame myself or think it was my fault," she explained, acknowledging how the trauma altered her sense of self. "It was something that really changed my life. It changed who I was completely." Lady Gaga channeled the pain of her experience into her art, using music as a form of healing and to raise awareness about sexual assault. In 2015, she co-wrote the powerful song "Till It Happens to You" with renowned songwriter Diane Warren, which was featured in the film The Hunting Ground, a documentary about sexual assault on college campuses. The song became a poignant anthem for survivors, but for Gaga, it was bittersweet. In an interview with the Los Angeles Times, she revealed the emotional toll the song took on her. "Every time I listen to it, I cry," she confessed. "Every time I get a text about it, I always feel sick. It's like this thing you don't want to face." Despite the song's success and its role in sparking conversations about assault, Gaga's emotional connection to it remains deeply personal and painful, underscoring the lasting impact of trauma on survivors. Lady Gaga has been candid about her ongoing struggles with mental illness, which she has attributed to the traumatic sexual assault she endured as a teenager. In 2016, she first revealed her battle with post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, during an appearance on The Today Show, offering the public a glimpse into the toll the trauma had taken on her mental health. It wasn't until 2018 that Gaga opened up more deeply about the extent of her mental health challenges in a powerful speech at the SAG-AFTRA Foundation's Patron of the Artists Awards. In her speech, she shared the unsettling symptoms she began to experience as a result of the PTSD. "I began to notice that I would stare off into space and black out for seconds or minutes. I would see flashes of things I was tormented by, experiences that were filed away in my brain with 'I'll deal with you later' for many years because my brain was protecting me. As science teaches us," she explained, Gaga also revealed how her brain had been working to protect her from the overwhelming trauma by repressing the memories, but as time passed, they resurfaced in disturbing ways. She explained that these troubling experiences were indicative of both dissociation and PTSD, conditions for which she had not received the appropriate mental health support at the time. These were also symptoms of disassociation and PTSD, and I did not have a team that included mental health support, she admitted. As her mental health challenges progressed, they manifested physically in the form of chronic pain, including fibromyalgia, as well as panic attacks, acute trauma responses, and crippling mental spirals. Gaga spoke with heartbreaking honesty about the darker aspects of her struggle, revealing that these spirals sometimes led to suicidal ideation and masochistic behavior. In light of her own experiences, Gaga became a vocal advocate for mental health awareness. Her struggles inspired her to launch the Born This Way Foundation, a non-profit dedicated to promoting mental wellness and addressing the stigma around mental health. She also used her platform at the 2019 Grammy Awards to raise awareness about the importance of mental health care, further solidifying her commitment to breaking the silence surrounding these issues and supporting others who face similar challenges. Through her advocacy and personal transparency, Lady Gaga has become a leading figure in the fight for better mental health, support, and understanding. In 2013, Lady Gaga collaborated with R. Kelly on the song "Do What You Want with My Body," which was intended to be a provocative and bold track. However, the release of the accompanying music video directed by Terry Richardson, a photographer who had also been accused of sexual misconduct, was ultimately scrapped before it could reach the public. The collaboration quickly became controversial, especially as R. Kelly had long faced allegations of sexual misconduct and assault, with many believing he had been protected from accountability for years. The situation worsened in 2019 when the surviving R. Kelly docu-series aired on Lifetime, exposing even more disturbing details about Kelly's history of abuse. In the wake of this, many felt that Lady Gaga, a vocal advocate for sexual assault survivors, should publicly address her collaboration with Kelly. Lady Gaga eventually took to Twitter to address the backlash. She expressed her strong support for the women who had come forward with allegations against Kelly, saying, "I stand behind these women 1000%, believe them, know they are suffering and in pain, and feel strongly that their voices should be heard and taken seriously." She condemned the accusations against Kelly, calling them absolutely horrifying and indefensible. Gaga then offered a deeply personal explanation for her involvement in the project. She admitted that at the time she worked on the song and video, she was in a dark time in her life, still grappling with the trauma of her own sexual assault. She explained that her intent was to create something that was extremely defiant and provocative, as a way to channel her anger, though she acknowledged that she had not yet fully processed the pain she was experiencing. "I think it's clear how explicitly twisted my thinking was at the time," she admitted. Recognizing the harm caused by the collaboration, Lady Gaga took full accountability for her actions and publicly apologized to the world. In a further step to distance herself from the song, she made the decision to remove "Do What You Want with My Body" from streaming platforms, effectively disassociating herself from the project. This move marked a significant moment in her ongoing commitment to supporting sexual assault survivors and advocating for accountability, even when it meant confronting her own past decisions. In June 2010, Lady Gaga revealed that she had a family history of lupus and that her tests had returned as borderline positive for the disease. Despite this concerning result, she clarified that at the time she was not showing any active symptoms of lupus. Gaga explained in an interview with CNN, "Lupus is in my family, and it is genetic," shedding light on her personal connection to the autoimmune disease. She also noted that her mother had informed her that fans were concerned after hearing about her test results, which only added to the attention around her health. Gaga reassured her followers by stating, "So, as of right now, I do not have it, but I have to take good care of myself." Lupus is a chronic autoimmune disease in which the body's immune system attacks its own tissues, leading to inflammation and damage. Symptoms of lupus can vary widely and include fatigue, joint pain, swelling, low fever, rashes, hair loss, and inflammation in various parts of the body. However, the disease can sometimes remain dormant for years, meaning that individuals can test positive without actually experiencing any symptoms or signs of the condition. This makes diagnosis and management particularly tricky, as symptoms may not appear until much later, and the disease can be difficult to predict. Experts speaking with CNN explained that Gaga's borderline positive test results were common among people who have a family member with lupus. Though it's important to note that being borderline positive doesn't necessarily mean she will develop the disease. Lady Gaga's tragic life experiences, including her sexual assault, mental health struggles, and the intense pressures of her rising fame, led her to turn to self-medication as a way to cope. In November 2013, she opened up about her addiction to marijuana, admitting that at one point she was smoking up to 15 or 20 marijuana cigarettes a day with no tobacco. Speaking on the Elvis Duran Z100 morning show via Yahoo, Gaga described her state of mind at the time, saying, "I was living on a totally other psychedelic plane, numbing myself completely." This period of excessive marijuana use was part of a larger pattern of substance abuse. Gaga confessed that she would often move from one substance to another, experimenting heavily over the past 7 years. Her use of drugs and alcohol was a way to dull the emotional pain and turmoil she was facing, but ultimately it became unsustainable. "I had to stop," she admitted, recognizing the damage it was doing to her. During her Born This Way ball tour, Gaga's substance abuse reached a particularly dark point. The tour was marred by a severe hip injury, which forced her to cancel many of the scheduled dates. Gaga reflected on this period in her life, acknowledging that she was in a lot of pain and felt really depressed all the time and not really sure why. To cope with her physical and emotional struggles, she turned to drugs and painkillers, saying she did a lot of drugs and took a lot of pills as a means of escaping her reality. Her addiction, which had been building for years, was compounded by the pressures of fame and personal trauma. Additionally, in a 2011 interview with Howard Stern via EW, Gaga admitted to her struggles with cocaine addiction before she became a major star. She shared that she used to isolate herself in her apartment, using the drug while she wrote music. "I did it all alone in my apartment while I wrote music," she recalled, adding, "And you know what? I regret every line I ever did." Don't touch it. It's the devil. Gaga's candid admission highlighted not only the destructive nature of her past substance abuse, but also her deep regret and the lessons she learned along the way. This honesty marked a turning point for Gaga, who later sought help and began to prioritize her mental and physical well-being, publicly advocating for self-care and addiction recovery. In February 2012, Lady Gaga revealed that she had struggled with eating disorders, including bulimia and anorexia, since she was 15 years old. Speaking candidly about her past, she admitted that her body image issues began in high school. "I used to throw up all the time in high school," she shared, according to page 6. Gaga explained that she had dreamed of being a skinny little ballerina. but as a voluptuous little Italian girl, with a family that cherished hearty meals like meatballs on the table every night, she felt a disconnect between her body and the ideal she was trying to achieve. Despite the pain, Gaga acknowledged that the only way to overcome such struggles was by seeking help. "It's really hard, but you've got to talk to somebody about it," she urged, emphasizing the importance of reaching out for support. Gaga went on to explain that her battle with bulimia had physically affected her, particularly her voice. The damage caused by vomiting, specifically the acid from her stomach on her vocal cords, was severe. "It's very bad," she said, warning others about the risks. "But for those of you who don't sing, you maybe don't have that excuse until it's too late. It's very dangerous." Her vulnerability in sharing this intimate detail underscored how destructive the disorder had been to both her body and her career. Later that year, Gaga took a powerful step to challenge societal beauty standards by launching the Body Revolution campaign on her Little Monsters website. In an effort to inspire bravery and body positivity, she posted unretouched photos of herself in bra and underwear, along with a heartfelt message about her past struggles with eating disorders. Gaga's openness sparked a wave of support from her fans, who followed her lead by sharing their own unfiltered images and personal stories about body image issues. In a heartfelt message to those fans, Gaga expressed her gratitude, saying, "My weight, loss, gain, since I was a child has tormented me. No amount of help has ever healed my pain about it, but you have." This initiative created a safe space online for people to be compassionate, as Gaga celebrated the collective healing and support within her fan community. Through her vulnerability and willingness to share her journey, Gaga helped shift the narrative around body image, inspiring others to embrace their imperfections and support one another. Despite the millions of adoring fans Lady Gaga has all over the world, she has often struggled with profound loneliness, a feeling that her fame has only seemed to intensify. Ahead of the release of Lady Gaga 5/2 in 2017, she wrote a deeply reflective open letter about the emotional conflict she faces as an artist. In the letter, Gaga expressed the tragic irony of her life. While she is surrounded by an immense global fan base, she still feels isolated and disconnected. "For me, it feels very unnatural, but complicated, because I know it is my destiny to be a performer," she confessed. This struggle was powerfully illustrated in a heartbreaking moment in the documentary, where she describes the stark contrast between the crowds of fans during the day and the total silence she faces when she is alone at night. The emptiness of being alone in a room after the adrenaline of performance creates a painful emotional disconnect, despite the adoration of others. A year later, while promoting A Star is Born, 2018, Gaga again spoke about the loneliness that often accompanies the life of a performer. In an interview with the Los Angeles Times, she explained that the feeling of isolation is all too familiar for many in her profession. "It's very lonely being a performer," she said, revealing the intense solitude she feels in her role. "There's a certain loneliness that I feel anyway, that I'm the only one that does what I do," she continued, sharing how this sense of being misunderstood can create an emotional void. For many entertainers like herself, the struggle to cope with these feelings can lead them to seek relief through substances, and the urge to use is because you're searching for a way to quell the pain, Gaga explained, acknowledging how substance abuse can become a temporary escape for those grappling with such profound loneliness. Through her openness about these challenges, Gaga shed light on the hidden side of fame, showing that even the most celebrated figures can experience deep emotional struggles behind their public personas. A central theme in the 2017 documentary Lady Gaga, 5'2", was the singer's ongoing battle with chronic pain caused by fibromyalgia, a condition that has significantly impacted her life and career. According to CNN, Gaga's fibromyalgia led to her postponing or canceling several tour dates in 2017 and 2018 due to the severity of the symptoms. Fibromyalgia is a chronic disorder characterized by widespread nerve and muscle pain, as well as other symptoms such as trouble sleeping, headaches, fatigue, digestive issues, and pain in the face and jaw. The condition also affects mental health, often causing difficulty with concentration and memory, as well as feelings of distress. Though the exact causes of fibromyalgia remain unclear, it is often linked to conditions like PTSD and lupus, both of which Gaga has publicly dealt with. In a candid interview with Vogue in October 2018, Gaga opened up about the challenges of living with fibromyalgia and the skepticism she faces from others who doubt its legitimacy. "I get so irritated with people who don't believe fibromyalgia is real," she confessed, highlighting the emotional toll of being misunderstood about her condition. She described her fibromyalgia as a cyclone of anxiety, depression, PTSD, trauma, and panic disorder, explaining how these overlapping issues send her nervous system into overdrive, which results in nerve pain. She acknowledged that chronic pain is an all-consuming reality, saying, "It's every day waking up not knowing how you're going to feel." Despite the daily struggle, Gaga emphasized the importance of receiving proper care and support. At the time of the interview, she shared that she was improving, thanks to the help of fantastic doctors who were helping her manage her symptoms and prepare her for performances. "It's getting better every day," she said, offering hope for her ongoing recovery. Gaga's openness about her battle with fibromyalgia not only highlighted her resilience, but also raised awareness about a condition that is often overlooked or misunderstood. Lady Gaga's deeply emotional performance as Ally in A Star is Born, 2018, was shaped by real-life tragedy, as she was dealing with the devastating loss of one of her closest friends, Sonia Durham, while filming the movie in May 2017. Durham, who had been battling cancer for a long time, passed away shortly after Gaga received a heartbreaking phone call from her friend's family. In an interview with Zane Lowe for Apple Music, Gaga recounted the difficult moment when she was filming the final scene of A Star is Born, which mirrored the painful emotions she was experiencing in real life. On the day of the phone call, Gaga's friend's husband told her that Durham was not doing well, and she could hear her friend's faint moans in the background. Gaga, overwhelmed with emotion, left the set to be with Durham and her family. However, she missed seeing her friend alive by just 10 minutes. In the aftermath of Durham's passing, Gaga spent time with her friend's family, where her husband gave her a powerful piece of advice. "You've got to do what Sonia would want you to do." She loved being a performer, and she loved working in music. Gaga took these words to heart, feeling that her friend had given her a tragic gift in that moment. Returning to set later that day, Gaga channeled the pain and grief she was feeling into her performance. She explained that she sang the emotional song for both the character of Jackson Maine and for her late friend Sonia in a deeply personal tribute. "I sang that song for Jackson Maine and for her on that very same day within an hour," she said. 6 months after Durham's death, Gaga posted a tribute video to her late friend on her YouTube page with the heartfelt caption, "Not a day goes by that I don't miss you." This tribute highlighted the profound impact that Durham had on Gaga's life, as well as the deep emotional connection that fueled her powerful performance in A Star is Born. The tragic events of Lady Gaga's early life, including her personal health struggles and the trauma of sexual assault, parallel the suffering endured by her late aunt, Joanne Germanotta, who deeply influenced the creation of her 2016 album, Joanne.Gaga, has opened up about how these familial tragedies shaped her both as a person and an artist. During a performance of Till It Happens to You at the Producers Guild Awards in January 2016, she revealed the profound connection between her experiences and her family's history. Gaga shared that her father's sister, Joanne, was sexually assaulted during her time in college. The emotional toll of the assault was so devastating that it exacerbated the lupus Joanne already had, worsening her condition to the point that it contributed to her premature death. Gaga explained that the trauma Joanne experienced affected her family deeply, particularly her father, who was only 16 at the time. Her tragedy became one of the centerpieces of her family's pain and emotional history, leaving a lasting impact on Gaga's own life. In an interview with V magazine in August 2017, Gaga reflected on her aunt's life and death, noting that Joanne, an accomplished painter, writer, and poet, passed away from complications related to lupus in 1974. Although her cause of death had been unexplained at the time, Joanne's health deteriorated so severely that doctors considered amputating her hands in an effort to save her life. Gaga described Joanne's passing as the center of the pain in my family, emphasizing how her aunt's suffering and death became a defining and painful moment in their history. This deep emotional wound drove Gaga to live her life with a sense of urgency, explaining that the tragedy of losing her aunt is the reason she strives to live every day as if it was her last. Joanne's legacy of creativity, strength, and tragic loss continues to resonate in Gaga's music, especially on the album Joanne, where she channeled the grief and lessons of her family's experience into her art. In her 2017 documentary, Lady Gaga 5'2", the singer opened up about the emotional toll her career had on her love life, lamenting that her romantic relationship seemed to unravel as her professional success soared. She explained, "My love life has just imploded. I sold 10 million records and lost Matt. I sold 30 million and lost Luke. I sold a movie and lost Taylor." It's like a turnover. Gaga was referring to her breakups with ex-boyfriends Matthew Michael Williams and Luke Carl, as well as her broken engagement to actor Taylor Kinney. Her words illustrated the deep connection between her skyrocketing career and the personal sacrifices she was forced to make, including losing key relationships in her life. Luke Carl, who was a significant figure in Gaga's life before and during her early years of fame, spoke candidly about the challenges of dating someone who was constantly in the public eye. In a 2012 interview with Black Book, Carl admitted, "I'm not the type of guy who can sit on someone else's yacht sipping champagne," acknowledging the strain that comes with maintaining a relationship with someone who is always on the move. He added, "To date someone who is never in the same country, let alone zip code, you had better be rich or be willing to live off of their money. I was neither." This candid statement reflected the difficulties that accompanied Gaga's global stardom, where constant travel and distance became barriers to their relationship. Gaga's engagement to Taylor Kinney, which ended in 2016, also faced challenges largely attributed to her career. When discussing their breakup in a 2016 interview with CBS This Morning, Gaga was somewhat vague but poignant, saying, "I think women love very hard. Sometimes I don't know that that love is met with the type of dignity that we wish it would be met with." She explained that women want to love deeply, wholesomely, and fully, but often find that the love they give is not always reciprocated in the way they had hoped. The cycle of heartbreak continued for Gaga in 2019, when her engagement to talent agent Christian Carino came to an end after what appeared to be a happy relationship. The breakup, coming on the heels of her successes in A Star Is Born and her monumental music career, was another painful chapter in Gaga's tumultuous romantic history. Despite her fame and achievements, Gaga's experiences reflect the reality that fame can often complicate personal relationships, leaving her to grapple with the emotional fallout of love lost. Gaga's romantic life has often been marked by tumultuous relationships, with at least 2 of her former lovers allegedly attempting to control her, which ultimately led to unhealthy dynamics. In his memoir, Rivington Was Ours, Lady Gaga, The Lower East Side, and the Prime of Our Lives, Brendan J. Sullivan, a friend of the singer, shed light on her relationship with ex-boyfriend Luke Carl. Sullivan revealed that, at one point, Gaga altered her appearance and musical style to appease Carl. She dyed her hair blonde and adapted her sound to match his preferences, attempting to align herself with his desires. However, Carl's behavior was far from supportive. Sullivan described him as both inattentive and controlling, with Carl reportedly dictating who Gaga could associate with and where she could work. At one point in time, Carl was accused of flirting with other women, often in Gaga's presence, adding to the emotional strain of their relationship. But Carl wasn't the only one who tried to dominate Gaga's life. After parting ways with her fiancé, Christian Carino, in 2019, insiders revealed to Us Weekly that Gaga was devastated by the split. A Hollywood talent agent was said to have infringed on her creative process, trying to exert control over aspects of her career. Sources claimed that Carino's behavior grew increasingly unhealthy as he became insecure and jealous. These traits reportedly made for a strained relationship, especially considering the immense pressure and public attention surrounding Gaga's career. Near the end of their relationship, Carino was said to have become a stage 5 clinger, constantly hounding Gaga, which added to her emotional distress. This behavior, combined with his lack of respect for her independence, ultimately contributed to the end of their engagement. In both relationships, Gaga's attempts to accommodate her partner's desires led to emotional turmoil. Her experiences highlight the complex nature of balancing love and independence, especially when navigating the challenges of fame. What do you think about the tragic events that took place in Lady Gaga's life? Leave us your comments in the section below. We hope you have found this helpful video. Don't forget to leave a like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you like it. Thank you for watching this, and see you in the next videos. Goodbye.